Hello, Home Trust Realty Group. It's Bobby, and I am here with Steve Plested and our special guest, Melissa Herrera. She is a Home Trust Realty Group agent, and Steve Plested is an Onboard One mortgage loan officer. And today we are going to talk about being approved and versus not being approved.
By the way, thank you for inviting us to come on the show and talk about what is the difference between not being approved and being pre-approved by a lender. Whoever is approved has a bargaining chip that is easier to use when you're looking for a home. When you're not approved, you're basically driving blind and looking for houses that you may not be able to qualify.
Right. So, for example, I'm the guy, right? I'm gonna go out there. I want to buy a home. I've never bought a home before, so I know I need to get financing because I'm not a cash buyer. And I go out there, and Melissa's my realtor, and I say, "Hey, I want to buy a home." She says,
The first thing I would tell my client, "Hi, Bobby, we need to get you pre-approved,
"Okay,
just so we can know what price range we can look for, and we're not just driving around showing you every house from expensive, not
Right.
expensive. We know exactly what you're pre-approved for, what a price point is."
Correct. If you take what Melissa said, think about the experience of going out with the realtor and looking for a home, and then you find this awesome house. Now your expectations are growing, right? You say, "I like the house, I want to buy that house," and then when you look at the finances, you can't. So there's a couple of things that you can look at the situation, right? So whenever you have a client as a realtor, whenever you have a client that is looking for a home, you want to make sure that you fill the gap, right? So are you able to qualify for the loan amount that you're talking about? Is your credit okay? And then is your employment history okay?
right, right."
And then finally, do you have the money for the down payment, which is a little bit of an issue sometimes, right?
Definitely, definitely. So it makes perfect sense, because you don't want to go out, fall in love with, a home that's out of your reach. Then you try to get the home for the client. They're not approved. Now, you wasted some time. The client maybe gets upset or offended,
Right.
and we're just in this big mess.
How do you feel about showing a house to someone that is not approved?
I don't like doing it. I don't enjoy it. I mean, it's not, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
you don't know if they could even purchase this home. So it is, you might just be doing it. Personally, I have shown a house to people
Mhm.
that they're not pre-approved, and then, just be like, I know the person personally, let's go check it out. But
Right.
then they got pre-approved and it was for something way less.
Right.
So, I mean, they ended up buying a house, maybe a year later, but at that point, it's kind of a waste of time.
You as a realtor, you're gonna most likely say, you're gonna call Steve. "Hey, Steve, I got a client. They're ready to purchase. Let's get them pre-approved, pre-qualified, then pre-approved, right? And then they get a pre-approval letter."
Right.
Or you can break that down, that process for us. So,
So personally, I just get Steve on the phone. I'm like, "Steve, I have a client. Can you please call them and try and get them pre-approved?" And then now we actually know what's the price point that we can go looking for.
Melissa calls you. She
Right.
says, "I have the client. What happens next?"
So again, the first thing that you want to do when you have a client as a realtor is to make sure that they're qualified, right? So call your lender, in this case, call Onboard One Mortgage, and ask for any of our loan officers, and we can help you with that. We can get a pre-approval in 24 hours, as long as we can get all the documentation up front, right? The documentations, right? So bank statements, pay stubs, W-2s, or if you're self-employed, taxes, and of course your IDs to make sure that everything is in compliance, right?
Right.
Okay, but if you think about that situation, when you are pre-approved, no matter what the situation is, no matter where you are in the process, that is the first step. You need to know where you are in order for us to create a plan to make sure that at the end of the day, you can buy a house.
What would be the difference between me getting pre-qualified versus me getting pre-approved?
So think about it this way. Sometimes I get calls of people that want to find out about a mortgage, right? So on the phone, I can figure out how much I made. I can ask them, "Are you salary or whatever, an hourly?" And I can figure out how much they're making and how much they can afford with that income, right?
Right.
But it doesn't mean that they can actually afford the whole thing,
Right.
right? Or sometimes they don't even want to pay that much.
Right.
They want to stay within the same amount of money that they're paying rent,
Right.
or they have too many debt, right? Which
Okay.
is something that plays into into that part.
Right.
If you have too much student loans, or you just bought a car, or a lot of credit card debt, then the amount of money that you can qualify gets reduced,
Okay.
right? So even though your income says you can buy this much of a house, when you look at the whole thing,
You have other factors.
it's all the factors, right? So that's the difference between, qualifying you for something or actually getting you pre-approved for something.
Once we get our clients, your clients as a real estate agent to onboard one mortgage, they're gonna get that process, right? They're gonna get pre-qualified.
Yep.
In that moment, within 24 hours, we can get them pre-approved,
24 hours, as long as we can get all the documentation in.
all the documents, and we did go over some of those documents.
Right.
So great deal. I mean, this totally makes sense. Not approved versus getting a pre-approval letter. You're saving time,
Right.
so you're definitely saving money. You're saving a headache. Everybody's gonna be happier in the long run because we have a clear picture of what we can afford.
And Melissa can probably attest to this, but what a better way to start a relationship with your client as a realtor,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that there are not going to be any disappointments, right? You come in knowing how much you can afford,
Right.
right? And then she'll be able to find the exact house that you need,
Right.
Right.
Within your price point.
right? Now, keep in mind that, you fall in love with houses, but it's what you want
There's
as
what you
opposed
can
to what
get.
you need, right?
What you're able to afford.
Right. So
So
it is better to start that way, being
yes,
pre-approved.
first step, client comes to you, they're like, I want to get a house. You get that lender right there, like, let me get you to a lender ASAP.
Correct.
And the lender kind of takes care of it, gives you that pre-approval, you're good to go.
How do you feel once you get that pre-approval and you're going in, let's say, to put in a bid? How does that make you feel? And possibly, it's going to rub off to your client.
Yes,
right?
actually, that was like another point I wanted to touch. In today's market, you have to be ready, basically. So, you go show that property, you may already have that offer written out because of how things are moving, right? So you can't send an offer without a pre-approval. You need to show that they can afford this house. So you're jumping ahead of the game. You're not finding a house and then calling a lender. No, like you're already ready to go. You have to send that offer that night. You have your pre-approval ready from the first day you spoke to your client.
So it empowers the realtors to do a better job, right? They can come in confident that they know that they can win that offer
Mhm.
by presenting a strong client,
Mhm.
right? Strong client. So that could be the difference between getting your offer accepted or not.
Yeah, that is definitely huge now in the market
Yeah.
where there's multiple offers coming in. If you can stand out from the rest, even better. And that's why we encourage all our Home Trust Realty Group agents, to get their clients pre-approved. Definitely Onboard One Mortgage is the place to do it.
Yes.
Good info, guys. Thank you definitely for giving us a little bit of insight into this real estate market. Steve Plested from Onboard One Mortgage. If they have any questions, where can they reach you?
So they can always call us at 813-370-2141. That's my phone number. Or you can reach out to any of the loan officers that we have in Riverview, in Kissimmee, and Tampa.
Definitely. And that number, just in case you need it, is 1-833-511-5626 or 1-833-511-LOAN.
And Melissa, what about you? Where can they reach you?
You could always reach me, call, text. My number is 813-993-9437, or my email is Melissa, Melisa, Florida Realtor. Everything's spelled out at gmail.com.
Excellent.
Nice. Once again, thank you guys for coming in and giving everybody that insight of the real estate market.
And if you have any additional questions, please reach out to us. We can offer you a free consultation, no cost to you.
Yes.
Awesome, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.